Welcome everyone to AI Sports Predictor, where we don't just follow the crowd, we lead the charge. Today, we're diving into Los Angeles Kings versus Carolina Hurricanes. And believe me, this one's worth a second look. Now, here's what everyone's saying. The Kings have lost 4 straight, they're ice cold offensively, and Carolina's rolling through opponents like a freight train. But if betting on hockey were that simple, sportsbooks wouldn't exist. So, let's crack this open. Yes. The Kings' scoring has dipped. They've scored 2 or fewer goals in 9 of their last 10 games, and their stars, Adrian Kempe, Anze Kopitar, haven't delivered. But you know what? Scoring droughts end. Always. It's not a question of if but when. And when they do, it usually happens when the public least expects it. Let's talk defense. The Kings rank 6th in goals allowed, giving up just 2.5 per game. Darcy Kuemper, 14 wins, 2.17 goals against, and a .921 save percentage, isn't just good, he's elite. And guess what? He didn't even play in their recent loss. He's rested, hungry, and ready to remind everyone why he's a brick wall in the net. On the other side, Carolina's hype machine is running wild. Frederik Andersen is back after missing most of the season. But he's only played 8 games. The real workload is on Pyotr Kochetkov, whose numbers, 2.47 GAA and a .903 save percentage, are solid but far from untouchable. Especially against a Kings team that knows how to grind out wins. Then there's the scoring argument. Carolina is averaging 3.4 goals per game, sure, but they barely squeaked by Chicago. Sebastian Aho is questionable. And Mikko Rantanen, their new trade acquisition, has 1 goal since joining the team. Does that sound like a dominant offense? Not to me. And here's where the public falls into the trap. They see the Kings on a losing streak and the Hurricanes at home and think it's an easy Carolina blowout. But this line is inflated, books know the public can't resist it. And that's where we come in. And today's AI pick is the Los Angeles Kings plus 1.5. We're banking on Kuemper's defense, the Kings snapping their scoring slump, and Carolina failing to live up to the hype. Take the cushion, sit back, and let the Kings fight tooth and nail. On to Game 2.
Game 2 brings us to the Minnesota Wild versus the Ottawa Senators. Now, the prediction everyone's heard is the Senators on the money line. Home favorites, hot streak, defense strong. But if I had a nickel for every time a favorite fell on their home ice, I'd own a yacht by now. Let's unpack why Minnesota's the smarter play. The Senators' offense, despite its hype, is a paper tiger. Yes, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, and Drake Batherson have combined for 49 goals and 79 assists. That's impressive, until you realize the rest of the team barely contributes. 7 skaters with 9 goals or more isn't depth, it's a symptom. You shut down that top line, and suddenly Ottawa's offense dries up faster than spilled water on hot asphalt. And who's perfectly built to shut them down? The Minnesota Wild. Their defense is stingy, suffocating, and relentless, allowing only 2.77 goals per game. Brock Faber, Jacob Middleton, Zach Bogosian, and Jonas Brodin form a brick wall, 13.5 defensive point shares from one pair, 9.3 from another. They've only given up 3 goals in their last 3 games. That's more than solid. That's airtight. And then, there's Filip Gustavsson. You want a guy who can steal a road game? Look no further. A .914 save percentage, 2.56 GAA. And 12.8 goals saved above average. He's the kind of goalie who thrives when the pressure's on, and guess what? He knows Ottawa's game. He played for them. He's seen this team from the inside out, and that edge isn't something you find on a stat sheet. Now let's talk about momentum. Minnesota isn't just winning, they're doing it convincingly. 3 straight victories, with their defense leading the charge. Compare that to Ottawa, who's also riding a win streak, but with a much shakier offensive core and a goaltender. Leevi Meriläinen, with only 279 shots faced this season. Don't get me wrong, Meriläinen's .921 save percentage looks good. But let's be real, he's not battle-tested like Gustavsson. The article's prediction leans on home ice advantage and Ottawa's defensive prowess. But here's the thing. Home ice doesn't stop puck possession battles or neutralize elite defensive structures. It doesn't change the fact that the Senators' offense lacks secondary scoring and can be stifled by a disciplined, physical team like the Wild. And today's AI pick is the Minnesota Wild moneyline. We're banking on Gustafsson making the saves, the Wild defense locking down Ottawa's top line, and Minnesota taking advantage of a Senators team that just doesn't have the offensive depth to respond. It's time to trust the Wild to steal this one. On to Game 3.
Game 3, Detroit Red Wings versus Calgary Flames. The experts are pointing to the Flames as the pick, but if you ask me, that prediction's got more holes than Swiss cheese. Let's talk about why Detroit is the real play here. First off, let's talk momentum. The Red Wings are riding a 4-game win streak, 12 wins in their last 16 outings. This isn't a team squeaking by. They have been dominating their matchups, including erasing a 2-goal deficit against Edmonton and finishing the job in a shootout thanks to Dylan Larkin's clutch performance and Alex Lyon's heroic 4-5 saves. You don't win like that unless you've got grit, resilience, and a winning mindset. Now compare that to Calgary. Sure, they just beat Anaheim, but let's not overhype it. They played a Ducks team that's one of the worst in the league. Before that, 2 straight losses to Winnipeg and Washington. Their form is shaky at best, and beating up on weaker teams doesn't convince me they're ready to handle a team as hot as Detroit. Let's talk defense. The prediction says Dustin Wolf's solid play will make the difference. Okay, he's been descent to a .51 GAA and a 0.917 save percentage, but let's not forget who he's facing. Detroit has a balanced attack, led by Dylan Larkin, and they won 5 straight against Calgary, including a 2-1 overtime victory earlier this season. That's not just a fluky, that's ownership. Now, they'll tell you Detroit's missing Patrick Kane and J.T. Compher, and sure, that stings. But this team has already proven they can win without them. Larkin stepping up, and their defense is solid enough to withstand Calgary's mediocre offense. Speaking of which, Calgary ranks 28th in the league in goals per game, barely scraping together 2.68 even with Dustin Wolf in net. You can't win if you don't score. And then there's Cam Talbot. Don't sleep on him. A 2.86 GAA, 0.907 save percentage, and a veteran presence in high-pressure games. He's built for these tight, grinded-out battles, and against a team like Calgary that struggles to generate offense, I am betting on Talbot to shut them down. Here's the kicker: Calgary's defensive edge isn't what you think. They're allowing nearly 3 goals per game and rank tied for the most power play goals allowed this season. Detroit may have the worst penalty kill percentage, but this game won't be decided on special teams. It'll be decided at even strength, and that's where Detroit thrives. And today's AI pick is the Detroit Red Wings moneyline. This team has the momentum, the recent success against Calgary, and the goaltending to get the job done. Trust the Red Wings to leave Calgary with another win and keep their streak alive. On to Game 4.
Game 4, New York Rangers versus Boston Bruins. The experts are leaning toward Boston at home, but let me tell you why that's a shaky foundation to bet on. We're riding with the Rangers, and here's why. Let's start with momentum or the lack of it. The Bruins may have won 4 of their last 5 at home, but don't get fooled by surface-level stats. Their last game, a 6-2 loss to Winnipeg. That wasn't just a bad game, it was an exposure of their defensive flaws. They ranked 25th in the league in goals against, giving up 3.23 per game. That's not the defense you want when facing a Rangers team hungry to bounce back. Now, they'll tell you Boston's offense is hot, having scored 13 goals in their last 4 home games. But let's break that down. That's barely above 3 goals per game, which isn't anything special when you're leaking goals on the other end. Joonas Korpisalo, their projected starter, has been struggling at 2.84 GA and in 0.894 save percentage. If you think that's enough to stop Artemi Panarin and Adam Fox, think again. Speaking of Panarin, the guy's been a machine, 52 points this season. And even though the Rangers have hit scoring troubles, don't ignore this stat: they've scored 10 goals in their last 3 games. That's not a cold offense, it's a team getting its rhythm back. And then there's Igor Shesterkin. His numbers, 12.83 GAA and a 0.909 save percentage, might not jump off the page, but he's proven he can steal games. More importantly, he knows how to shut down teams like Boston. Remember, the Rangers already beat them once this season, and Shesterkin is the type of goalie who thrives when revenge is on the line. Let's talk defense, because that's where this game will be decided. The prediction claims Boston's defense will rebound, but let's be honest, they have been inconsistent all season. Giving up 6 goals to Winnipeg wasn't a fluke, it was a reminder that their defense crumbles under pressure. On the other hand, the Rangers have a top 4 penalty kill, and when you consider Boston's 13% power play conversion rate, I see no reason why New York can't neutralize their special teams. And let's not forget history. New York has won 6 of their last 10 games against Boston, and with the Rangers leading the season series 1-0, they know how to handle this matchup. And today's AI pick is the New York Rangers Moneyline. Boston's defense can't be trusted. Their goaltending isn't steady. And the Rangers, with Panarin leading the way, have the talent to take advantage. Trust the underdog to deliver the upset at TD Garden. On to Game 5.
We're at Game 5, New York Islanders versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Most predictions are locking in Tampa Bay at home. But let's not get swept up in the hype. Let's break this down and show you why the Islanders are the play tonight. First, let's address the winning streak, 6 straight victories. The Islanders have completely turned their season around. And it's not luck, it's defense. They've allowed only 7 goals in their last 6 games. Scott Mayfield, Alexander Romanov, Adam Pelech, they're not just holding the line, they're choking opponents' offenses out of the game. When a defense is that locked in, streaks aren't flukes, they're statements. And don't sleep on Ilya Sorokin. His .907 save percentage may not scream elite, but here's what you need to know, he's hot when it matters. He's saved 5.7 goals above average this season, and in clutch situations, he knows how to lock down high-powered offenses like Tampa Bay's. Speaking of Tampa's offense, yes, they're impressive, 3.48 goals per game, Kucherov, Hagel, and Point lighting it up. But guess what? The Islanders already know how to handle top-heavy teams. Bo Horvat and Anders Lee are doing just fine offensively. But this game will be won by neutralizing Tampa's quick strike ability. And the Islanders have done that time and time again during this win streak. Now, the prediction leans heavily on Andrei Vasilevsky, and yes, the guy is a beast, 16.5 goals saved above average. 918 save percentage. But this isn't about individual goaltending. It's about who controls the pace. And with the Islanders' suffocating defensive structure, Tampa won't get their usual rhythm. The Islanders will slow them down. Keep this game tight, and capitalize on key scoring opportunities, and today's AI pick is, the New York Islanders Moneyline. We're trusting the defense, the momentum, and Sorokin's ability to shine under pressure. Tampa Bay might have the stars. But tonight, it's about the system, and the Islanders have that on lockdown. Recap of today's AI picks: Game 1, Los Angeles Kings, low 1.5, Game 2, Minnesota Wild Moneyline, Game 3, Detroit Red Wings Moneyline, Game 4, New York Rangers Moneyline, Game 5, New York Islanders Moneyline. There you have it. 5 bold picks. Let's see who's really paying attention when the final whistle blows.